So hello everyone and welcome to our webinar, 5 Ways to Improve Your Field Service Profitability. My name is Thao Nguyen and I'm very excited to be your host for this webinar and to share with you some of the best practices and tips on how to optimize your field service operation. This is the first webinar in our Organilog webinar series, and our goal is to share our knowledge and experience with field service businesses to help them grow and succeed. Alongside with me today, I have invited a special guest, Tony Archambault. He's the founder and CEO of Organilog. Tony will share with us a customer success story and how Organilog helped them transform their field service business. Tony, thank you very much for joining us today. And would you like to introduce a bit about yourself to our audience?
Yes, sure. So I'm Tony Archambault, the CEO and founder of Organilog. Organilog is a project that I started 10 years ago. The initial purpose of this project was to give a mobile application to the worker on field. This mobile application provides a way for the worker to know what they have to do and to report what they have done. But for sure, now it goes deeper and further than that, and that's the reason we are here on this webinar. Just to finish about myself, before this project, I was a software engineer specialized in web development. That's the reason I really want a great product to help people on the field. And let's continue.
Thank you very much, Tony. So now let's move on our program today. As we all know, field service profitability is a key indicator of how well your field service business is performing and how much value you are delivering to your customers. However, many field service businesses struggle with low profitability due to various challenges such as high cost or low productivity, poor customer satisfaction, and inefficient processes. So in this webinar, we will show you how you can overcome these challenges and increase your field service profitability by following 5 simple ways. We hope that by the end of this webinar, you will have a clear understanding of how to improve your field service performance and how to apply these best practices to your own business. And before we start, I would like to remind you that this webinar will last for about 45 minutes, and we will have a Q&A session in the end. So if you have any questions during the webinar, feel free to type them in the chat box and we will answer them as many as possible. You can also follow us on our social media channels and visit our website for more information about the webinars and as well as Organilog solution. So without further ado, let's get started. And before we learn about how to improve your profitability, it's important to understand what profitability is. So by definition, profits is the amount of revenue a business generates after deducting all the expenses, such as operating costs, salaries, and taxes. But of course, profits calculation is not that simple in real life, especially for field service entities. So not too many years ago, field service was considered a cost center, which means that division that mostly tied to cost. But in the past 10 years or so, many companies have discovered that field service offerings can be profitable and must be. So today, field service entity is very significant contributor to revenue and overall profitability. So as a result, it has become more and more critical to accurately calculate and predict profitability of field service business, and do so on a regular and timely basis. So field service profitability is important for your business because it reflects how well you are managing your resources, satisfying your customers, and creating value for your business. Therefore, improving your field service profitability should be one of your main goals as a field service business owner or manager. So how field service profitability should be established? So it is essential to establish field service business profitability based on first is the service contract. Second is separately for time and material services. And third, overall field service profitability. So I will explain further here. So when determining your profitability for service contract, it is critical to calculate the profit or loss for each individual contract. And furthermore, it will be necessary to identify the contract components that are causing excessive service costs and lower the profitability. So service contract profitability evaluation should be calculated based on the revenue and cost during the entire contract, but also at frequent intervals. This means that you have to examine how profitable the service contract is, not only when the service contract is finished, but also when it is still active, so that you can attempt to reduce the unnecessary cost for the remaining contract. And these are factors that that should be considered when you price new contracts or renew the old ones. So why it is important to track the service contract cost? Aside from the fact that companies expect the service contract to be profitable, there's valuable insight to be gained through analyzing the service costs associated with the contract. So here, let's explore an example. One example that easily occur in the real field service world. So suppose that we have an annual maintenance contract for with the customers for let's say $4,000, which is to be paid in advance each quarter. It's $1,000 per quarter. And suppose that the fully burdened cost for the first quarter is $1,500. So is that bad news? I would say maybe, maybe not. So we've exceeded the quarter one revenue booking by $500, but there are 9 months left in the contract, and we don't know at this point what's the service cost will be during the contract. So it's entirely possible and even likely that the field service cost for the remaining 9 months will be significantly less than $1,500 cost in Q1, and making the service contract profitable overall. So, but now what we need to do is to explore why the contract costs were unexpectedly high in the quarter one. And this is where the ability of the field service engineers to capture accurate and thorough data become critical. So we can drilling down into the cause of unexpected costs, and we may find that one particular part of the the equipment that failed multiple times and requiring replacement each time. Or we may find that the technician that most often dispatched to the customers had to call for backup support too often. So it's also doubling the cost for the on-site service. And we may also find that the customers didn't operate or do the self maintenance well enough as we instructed. So overall, when we have identified the root cause of the unexpected service costs, we can now take action to avert the cost going forward. So the critical point in is this analyzing costs associated with the contract, with the service contract is not only essential for securing service contract profitability, but it's also indispensable for identifying the processes, trends, or other complications that need to be addressed. And each time one of these negative factors are identified and corrected, the profitability of the service contract is further secured. And perhaps even more importantly, the customer satisfaction and brand loyalty, your reputation are also strengthened. So based on what we analyzed, let's explore some best practices to improve your field service profitability. First, understand your value and opportunities. So customers only pay for a service that is valuable for them. This means that in order to increase your revenue and make a profit, your field service organization needs to provide a useful service and also articulate that value to the customers. So if your service is not valuable to customers, they will eventually leave your company. And if you don't provide a compelling enough explanation of your value, they will choose your competitor. So before the field service organization can transform into a profit center, it is this value needs to be clearly identified and explained. So if your value is not clear, think about what makes your services unique, and how your services are better than your competitors, and what your customer says about your service, and also what type of words you want to be associated with your company in your marketplace. So once you identify this unique value, you can begin to incorporate it into your internal and external communications. And by speaking in terms that emphasize your value, you can reinforce your focus on revenue and start your transition to higher profitability. Secondly is automate your workflow and leverage mobile technology. So if you are still relying on spreadsheets and or multiple software systems to manage your customers or jobs or scheduling and dispatching and finances, chances are you wasting your valuable time with manual entry, data exporting and importing, and searching for information. So streamlining your workflow, you can reduce the overhead hours significantly. And with your technicians consistently on like working on the goal, the success is depending on the ability to access the real-time information about, let's say, about work orders, parts, or inventory, and also customer payments on the road. So leveraging your mobile technology can ensure that every technician can access to this information and allowing them to provide the best service possible. And this also improve both your first-time fix rate and your customer experience. And so, and that will, of course, help you to increase your ability to continuously drive the revenue. Also, automating your field service operations can also offer better scalability and transparency, therefore giving you more control over your company performance. And getting real-time insights into your business can also guide you through in the right direction and ensure that you are maximizing profit margins and opportunities. So thirdly is optimizing your resources. So I think it's worth reminding you that your biggest asset is your field service team. So therefore, if you can utilize their skills and time efficiently, it is more likely to increase your overall productivity and in turn generate more profit. So to optimize your resources, therefore, you must have a flawless and effective scheduling and dispatching system. So the goal is to ensure that your technicians are spending as much time as possible on service-related tasks and as little as possible on route and to change the route or doing other office job. So this will also help you to increase your company's billable hours and resulting in increased profit. So in this part, I would like you to let's consider a worst case scenario that you may have experienced already. That is that you have your technician, your field technician, isn't clear where to go, doesn't know what the problem is, and lacks the right part to fix on that day at your customers. And contrast that with the best scenario that now your technician can show up early, knows exactly what needs to be done, and also has all the necessary parts and elements in his or her truck, and they can also bill the customer right from the phone, and your customer can also sign on the phone too. So of course, if you think of the first scenario, it can be very painful for the customer and probably doesn't result in repeat business. But second scenario, the experience is much better for the customers, and it's also more likely for you to receive more jobs order from that customers. So optimizing your technician schedules, however, could be challenging if you still doing things manually. But now you can easily achieve this by using scheduling and dispatching software like Organilog here. That's you can see on the screen. So fourthly, is about focus on your customer experience. So providing a seamless customer experience illustrates that your customers are your main priority, which leads to improve competitive advantages, customer loyalty, customer retention, and also your revenue. So according to a recent field service research, 80% of customers say that the experience a company provides is as important as its products and services. And while 57% having stopped the service with a company because the competitor provided a better experience. And likewise, customers with a positive emotional experience are 6 times more likely to buy, and 12 times more likely to recommend the company, and 5 times more likely to forgive a mistake. So for any business, it is important to keep connected with your customers and employees. And if your customers can reach out anytime when they need a service, it will increase your chances of accepting more work orders, and as a result, making it more profits for your business. So make sure that you have an efficient customer service system. And moreover, in this era now, when the internet is and also other application technology is very developed, people nowadays expect to get all their needs fulfilled with just a touch of a button. So therefore, if you can retain if you want to retain your profitability and grow it further, you must ensure that your customers can reach out to you anytime without any hassle. So here are some suggestions that you can consider. First is to empower your customers with a self-service client portal. And second is the real-time feedback and review on the job. So on the screen, you can see on the left is just a screenshot of Organilog client portal that already one of the most favorite parts, like features of Organilog that we offer to our customers. And these days that you can see field service management software like Organilog can help you do that all in one platform. So last but not least, is motivates your employees. So there's no doubt that your employees play a valuable role in branding and sales, but only when they're happy and they are on the same page with you. So in the 2015 research, the Service Council asked field service organization what they needed to do to improve the daily lives of their field service technicians. So it's worth noting that 46% indicated that they spend too much time on the paperwork on the day-to-day basis. So this makes us believe that even though most technicians are on the go, most of their time is also is spent on administrative tasks. And also nearly 29%, I would say 29% of technicians are also dissatisfied with the time it took them to look for information. So most organizations are still stuck in providing the schedule and ticket management capabilities, and not looking ahead to the type of information that is seen as empowerment to their technicians. So next is the 21% of the technicians said that their field service work left them feel isolated, given the travel involved and also the solitary nature of most field service work. So why this 21% compared to other figures may look less significant, but it also presents opportunity for organization to establish a higher level of collaboration and engagement among the field service agents. So this can be done through the more consistent communication, and also with the aid of collaborative communication, and also knowledge platform, and also, of course, through the improved employees recognition. So the elimination of these challenges is seen as an effective way to improve a day in the life of the technicians. So our suggestion, like from our experience, the most effective solution in this situation is to give your technician technology that easy to use, and with all the necessary information right under their fingertips. So nowadays, field service management tools like Organilog can be super useful in centralizing your operations and streamlining your communication, and also reduce your administrative tasks significantly. And we consider that is the most important and also most significant way to motivate your customer as your employees. So now that we have discussed the 5 ways to improve your field service profitability, let's see how they work in practice. So Tony will share with us a case study of a cleaning service business that implemented these ways and also achieved amazing results. So Tony, over to you.
Yes, so I will tell the story of a small size company with 10 people on fields. And to start, I wanted to show you some photo we took on this company just to illustrate their environment. Here we can see one of the workers on the office, and here is his environment. Next. On this picture, we can see then their main services. So it's a company specialized in one thing. They clean the air duct pipes, so they have a air duct cleaning services. And on this picture, we can see on this picture we can see a pipe with. Let's imagine it's filled with dust and cooking oil, all mixed together. So they have to use a high pressure cleaner, and this cleaner just spreads a lot of water among the room. That's the reason the worker has to protect himself against the water. Next. On this other picture, we can see at the end of the intervention, he is required to take a picture inside of the pipe just to prove everything was properly done. And we will see later why it is so useful. Next. Something else they do on fields is just at the beginning, they have to unplug some wire. So they just put a reference code on each wire and they take a picture just to remember, okay, this wire goes from this part of the kitchen, so on and so on. Yeah, at the end, they just replace everything all together. Next. They also have to clean everything properly, not only the pipe, but also the other part of the kitchen. Next. And something that we don't think about when we think about this kind of business services but they also have to clean the pipe from the kitchen to the top of to the rooftop, because the hair duct pipes goes from one side to the other. So most of the time they need to access the roof just to clean everything. And sometimes it's not easy to find an access to the roof. And on this case, they have to work outside, and it was not a sunny day, unfortunately. Next. Now I will share with you 7 tips this company did to improve their profitability. At first, I will share the tips on the top and right side. Minimize sending team leads to the field. So they only did one simple thing to for these tips. They just requires the worker to take photos during the intervention and at the end of the intervention. When a worker knows that he will need to take a photo, he makes sure everything is properly clean before to take the photo. So it improves the quality of work just doing this. And from the customer point of side, they will receive a report with something like 20 photos. And when you are the customer, you receive such a report with a lot of photo, you just understand you have higher professionals and you are less likely to complain. Yes, you are less likely to complain. So altogether, this improves the quality and this reduces the number of complaints. So the company has less necessity to send the team leads to the field. Then they did something else. They just notify customer about their upcoming appointments. They send an email 1 week before, and on this email, they describe some checklist of what the customer has to do to prepare the interventions. Let's say they explain to protect some big equipment against the water, stuff like that. Just doing this, they save something like 1 to 2 hours at the beginning of each interventions. Then they reduce administrative paperwork, because before they had a lady on the office that was spending whole her Friday doing one thing, pasting the data from a piece of paper of interventions into an Excel file. But since they use a software and a mobile application, they don't have this piece of paper anymore. So the lady just saved her work on Friday to do something else. And what she did is the next tip: update the pricing based on actual field data. This lady just spent 2 or 3 Fridays just to analyze every interventions, and she analyzed the duration of, she tried to understand the typical services and the duration associated. And this pricing grid of was not up to date. It was updated for the last time 3 years ago, but when she checked a little bit about the past interventions, she realized that some interventions they were expected to have a 1 hour duration, for example, was taking 1 hour and a half. So for some kind of interventions, they had to increase by 50%. Then they train the field worker to upsell. The people on field have eyes and they are professional. So they ask them, okay, let's have a look what can be done to do some upsell. And most of the times when you clean the hair duct pipes of a restaurant, most of the time nearby there are other restaurants. Sometimes it's on the same building, sometimes it's across the street, it's another building, but it's quite similar. And when you have, when you know that a neighbor were happy about a service, you are more likely to accept the similar services. So the company told us they had more contract just using these tips. Then they gave a client portal to simplify customer support. Sometimes they were receiving some phone calls just asking, please, I lost my invoice, can you send it again? And by doing a portal protected by a login and a password, their customers are in an autonomy to download by themselves the invoices or the PDF reports. By doing this, the company told us they reduced by 20% the number of phone calls. And bonus tips, it's like a secret tips. Another company, not this one, but another one, just told us that 3 of their biggest customers were requesting a client portal. So they give them an access, and they just had additional fees to access this client portal. For them, it's the same price, but it's the same thing, but just they were requesting, okay, you were requesting a client portal, you can have it, but pay extra fees. So it improves their profitability as well. And at last, the last tips, they just assigned 1 district area by worker, so they are more likely able to group interventions all together. It's not always possible, but sometimes it happens that they reduce some travel from point A to point B just by grouping interventions together. And here it is for the 7 tips. So let's continue, Tao. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony, for such a great customer success story. So after Tony's sharings, you must be quite curious about Organilog. So don't worry, I got you covered. And so Organilog is a field service management solution by Adago, a French-based company that founded 10 years ago. So Organilog have the field service business plan, invoice, and also track the intervention at the office and also on the field with the web and mobile application. So whether you are a small company owners or a large enterprise, Organilog is a powerful tool that can help you to boost your productivity, improve your customer satisfaction, and also help you can connect the office team and the field team in real time, and also reduce the administrative task. So Organilog have a global presence in more than 20 countries, and is trusted by thousands of users. So if you want to learn more about Organilog, just please feel free to leave your contact details, and Organilog team will get back to you after this webinar. So we have reached the end of our webinar, and we hope that you enjoy it. So now we would like to open the floor for any questions that you may have. So if you have any questions, just feel free to leave it on the chat box, or also if it's not at this moment, you can also send us email anytime. So thank you for attending our webinar today, and thanks, Tony, for your sharing and practical advice. So we hope that you gain some valuable knowledge and tips for your business. And if you would like to receive the record of the of today's webinars, or just feel free to leave your email in the chat box, or we will send you after this webinar. And if you want to get more information or suggest to us about the next webinar topics, please reach us through our website or our social media channels. You can see right here, and we would love to hear from you soon. Thank you, and have a great day.